Welcome back. And now that you have watched the video and answered a few questions, let's return to our Foundations book to review the recommendations that are in the book for dual language learners in the many different yellow boxes previously discussed in the different domains. So first let's look at the emotional social domain on pages 53 and 57, where you're going to notice in the yellow boxes considerations for dual language learners. For instance, on page 53, it says home language and culture are an important part of children's developing self-concept and self-identity. Then you can go through and read the rest of that yellow box to find out some more suggestions for working with dual language learners. Page 57 discusses children whose home language is different from the language spoken in the classroom may need some extra time and support to develop peer relationships because it's really difficult to communicate with their peers. So we want to go on and just think about ways that we can help these dual language learners developing those friendships in the classroom. As we move on to the language development and communications domain, you'll see several pages that will have suggestions and considerations for working with dual language learners. For instance, on page 94, you'll see dual language learners who are learning a home language that is not English most often have stronger communication skills in their home language. Again, on page 96, children who are generally more quiet than others are children who are learning English as a second language, may speak less often. So it's really important for teachers and caregivers to pay close attention when quiet children do talk. So continue to read on to those suggestions on page 96 as well to help those children in their communication skills. Page 98, children learn to speak with proper grammar slowly over time. And so as you know, dual language learners are going to confuse several things such as pronouns. So just kind of be patient with them and help them along the way. Continue to read those suggestions. Page 99, young children first learn vocabulary words for people, objects, and activities, and then later children begin to learn words for more abstract concepts. Now, dual language learners develop vocabulary first in their home language, and as they begin to learn their second language, they will build their vocabulary in the same way as their home language, learning words that relate to things and people they experience first, and then go on to the more abstract words. On page 106, different languages have different print conventions or ways of printing the text on the page. Dual language learners may learn about how print works in more than one language. So teachers and caregivers should be aware of those differences when helping children learn book knowledge and print awareness skills. A lot of things for us to consider when we're working with dual language learners. Page 107, children benefit from playful experiences where they hear lots of different types of sounds. So remember too that dual language learners will have more opportunities to hear and process sounds in their home language than their second language. So they often are more aware of and able to produce sounds from their home language much quicker than, of course, their second language. On page 113, you will again see some suggestions for working with dual language learners as it relates to writing skills and then the conventions of those writing skills. So read that one. And then we'll move on to the cognitive development on page 144 and give some suggestions there with children with disabilities as well with dual language learners will also benefit from opportunities to express their observation in their home language or in English. So giving them those choices and letting them to do one or even both of them. So again, we will now move on to the activity for this module where you will read and review the strategies for dual language learners, which is on page 151 in your Foundations document. You will choose one strategy to implement with a child or a group of children. And remember, strategies that are good to use with dual language learners are also strategies that are effective with all children. And again, strategies could be a routine, a transition, an individual approach, or an activity for a small group or a large group. After you've completed your strategy and implemented it with a child or children, you will then answer the questions under the label on the Moodle page titled Check Your Understanding. Thank you for joining us.